Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
KVJ Podcast, precious children.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the after the show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get your skate every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Welcome to Thursday. Can you believe Thanksgiving already a week in the history books? Can't believe. That's crazy. Time is flying, huh?
Holidays are here, baby. It's going to be 2020 before you know. It'll be the first show of the year before you know it.
You're right. I feel like I'm already behind.
Yep. Holidays just zip on by.
Behind on what?
My tree's not up.
Well, don't put so much pressure. Who gives a shit? You'll get it up when you get it up.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you say to your penis.
Get it up when you get it up.
Exactly. You got to stop worrying about these things. Your tree, my penis. We got to stop worrying about these things.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Can we come over and decorate your penis?
It won't take long.
It's the good news. So, yeah, we got festivities going on. Next Friday is the Vanilla Ice Holiday Block Party at the Wellington Winterfest at the Equestrian Club. So you can come on out there and see that live performance and lots of family fun.
And it's pretty much close to free. It's just $5 to park.
Yep.
But it is, $5 to park the car and go check out a free concert with Vanilla Ice. That doesn't happen very often.
No, exactly. So go and check that out. Got a lot of concert stuff going to be coming up here. I was telling you about the Lady Gaga show. She's doing that the night before the Super Bowl Saturday. She's going to do a show in Miami. Just found out that Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Poison are going to be touring and kicking off in South Florida. That is going to be on July 7th at Hard Rock Stadium.
Boy, oh boy, I know what I'm definitely not doing on July 7th.
Yes. Got an email. People are already like going, oh, in fact, KVJ Nation are kind of alerted me to, and it was coming because they had the whole announcement of like, and it was, what was that stupid thing they had where it's like, they decided to break up and then realized it was stupid.
What, the Motley Crue thing?
The announcement that we played,
yeah.
Remember that?
It was the guy, it was Machine Kelly
Gun
who
Kelly,
played Tommy
Tommy
Lee.
Lee,
And yeah, they wrote up a contract saying that they're never going to perform again, and then they blew up the contract.
Because it was stupid or something like.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's just Vince Neil's probably blew through all his money.
It's awful and it's cheesy, but I also do love the awful and cheesy. I mean, I hated
Yeah.
/ loved that promo.
Yeah, it's just it's terrible for me. A lot of these bands that I loved as a kid are just, gosh, man, it's just terrible. Got an email here. Yeah, somebody's. I think it was Justin who had sent it. He's like, "Come on, man." He's like, I think it's during the week too. Oh, a Christian sent it. He's like, "Let's do this nonsense, Kev. Get that Wednesday off." So it's got to be on a Tuesday night.
Oh my gosh! If you were to skip a show for a Motley Crue concert, me and Virginia, we're out of here.
We're out of here.
I'm just kidding.
I would be proud of you if you went and had some fun, even though you don't think the crew's killing it. If Poison's still bringing it and you think it would be a fun show, I think that it's good to have a little fun.
Are those bands
nostalgia?
Are those the kind of, because I have bands that and artists I loved growing up as a teenager and as a kid and even into my early 20s, and then it's not that I hate them, but I just when they come on my iTunes, I change it immediately. I'm just not into it anymore. Are those songs kind of like that for you, where you heard them so much as a kid? Seeing them now, you're not like that excited?
Well, you know what I try to do, because I do, rock's probably, my favorite. So I don't listen to it all the time, so I don't want to get completely burnt out on it. So every now and then I'll bring it back every couple of weeks or something like that, listen to a few. And for a lot of these bands, the thing that I found out is I like a lot of their earlier stuff. And especially in the hair band era, they got to the point where they turned the corner. Def Leppard was that way. Def Leppard had an album called Pyromania that had Rock of Ages and all these songs on it that just sounded badass. And I still listen to that album like, that's a cool-ass album. It sounds great. And then they got into Hysteria was the album, and they got really commercial.
What was on Hysteria? What's the big
That was
ones?
the one that had Love Bites, and it had Hysteria was the song, and it had Armageddon it had Pour Some Sugar on Me. And so they had like 7 or 8 commercial hits. Like, you never see that in an album. Like, almost every song on the album was a massive hit.
Photograph on that one? Or is that
No, Photograph was Pyromania. That was the one before, where they sounded more raw. And when they're young and you're doing rock, they sound raw and kind of edgy. The same way with Motley Crue. Their first couple albums, gosh, they sounded really good and raw. And then they hit commercial success. And then those hair bands especially kept trying to like replicate the Cheese, and they realized that, oh, now the chicks like us, so they're writing power ballads, and it just got corny and shitty, and it was just like, where's the yeah,
corny and shitty.
it was like corn in your
corn,
shit.
yeah.
It was like a turd with corn in it. And I'm just like, gosh. And so a lot of the hair bands lost me the edge, and that's why the hair band era died quickly when Nirvana came out, because it was it was overexposed. And it got too cheesy, too corny. All the dudes looked like chicks. And they were like, yeah, that's why it kind of went away. So Motley Crue, I feel that way. Def Leppard was great for a while. Poison was, okay for a little while. There's an album or two I liked of them for a bit. But, if Vince Neil put it together and took it seriously and actually got himself into game shape, then I think I'd probably go. But to me, it would be like, okay, imagine like LeBron James. He could still maybe do it, but he's put on 80 pounds and not of muscle. And he's going to come back and play for the Miami Heat. Now, are you going to buy a ticket to see LeBron James if he's 80 pounds of fat, overweight, and can't dunk the ball?
Yes, because I can identify with that guy. That's the kind of role model I need.
LeBron, sweet baby James.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I put it the same way. Like, you are not in shape to perform, to do what you're supposed to do. Like, you expect me to spend a lot of money on a ticket to see you accomplish this. So you got to get yourself ready to do it. If you could do it, and in fact, that would be my thing. I will go to that show if Vince Neil gets himself in the same kind of shape. I know he's older, but Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx and Mick Mars, all those guys.
They held it together.
They held it together. And they're in performing shape. And Mick Mars has all kinds of health problems. So if he got to where he could actually perform on stage, now he can't move around, and he just holds the microphone out for the whole crowd to sing every song from. I'm like, you lazy son of a bitch. Like, I'm not going to pay you any money for this.
Question. Let's say we go off the air tomorrow, and in 20 years, we have a big KVJ reunion. Out of everybody here, who's the one person that really lets themselves go? Like a Vince Neil. Your silence says it all. You bunch of dicks. You're right.
You knew the answer before you asked the question.
Of course I did.
Yeah. You matched that highlighter in Kevin's cup.
I hate this sweater. I look terrible today. Everyone's giving me looks, as they should.
It's just so bright.
It's bright. It doesn't fit my body.
Radiating off your face.
It's a terrible outfit. I have black shorts on. I look like I'm a fucking walking Halloween.
But you're safe.
You're right.
Yeah, so if he took it seriously and got himself together and he could actually put on a good show, then I would be like, okay, you know what?
You should tweet out that challenge to him.
Yeah, I'd be like, Vince, if you take this seriously and actually get in shape and you get your vocal cord. I mean, you look at what Celine Dion does. Like, she's goes on vocal rest. She has, even when she performs at Caesars, it's set to a certain temperature. She's got humidity. She really realizes that this is my gift. I got to take care of it. And Vince just decided, I'm not going to take care of it. I don't care. And so he's probably past the point of being able to get it back, to be honest with you. Remember Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
When she got to that point, and same thing.
I was watching...
Girl couldn't do it anymore.
I was watching him sing Home Sweet Home. It was rough. It's from 2018. It was rough.
Oh, yeah. No, he can't sing any of the songs. It's terrible. I mean, when I've seen live footage, I'm like, why would anybody pay for this? To me, a true Motley Crue, I don't want to see it. It's sad.
Right.
I mean, I would rather go see a Motley Crue cover band because they would do it better. I swear to God.
No, I know you're
They
serious.
would do it better. No doubt. Remember I told you I went to Kid Rock's restaurant in Detroit?
Yes.
They're closing that bitch down.
No, why?
I think it's because of that video he made.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of trouble.
It was funny because I was there it's Little Caesars Arena. And it's where the Pistons and the Red Wings play. And so we went to some games there. And so Kid Rock's, they got a couple restaurants that are kind of tied around the outside plaza. It doesn't look like an arena. It looks just kind of like a city block, and the arena is kind of sandwiched in the middle. It's a nice little area they have, but they got Kid Rock's Made in America was there. I'm like, oh my gosh, Detroit, got to go to Kid Rock's place. We went in, and it was like 6 p.m. Like, yeah, sorry, the kitchen's closed. I'm like, the kitchen's closed? And there was like nobody in there. And it wasn't a game night. So I'm like, well, maybe to be fair, it's not a game night, but there's nobody in the place. And then after the game, we went, and it was sparsely attended. And I'm like, this place is not going to stay open. But I'm like, we were hoping maybe, I wonder if Kid Rock will be in. He was in Nashville at his other place there. That's when he went on stage and was blasting Oprah and all that stuff on the stage, and Joy Behar. And he said some stuff that people were saying was racist. I haven't really heard exactly what it was to judge. But he then wrote on Facebook, and he said that, I didn't say anything racist to anybody who was trying to say I was.
Well, if you say you don't like Oprah and you say you don't like Joy, that's not racist. That's just, him saying he doesn't like these two lippy ladies. But they're different races. We can see that, right, everybody?
I just don't know.
I don't know what the context was.
If there was more to the rant.
Yeah.
I have no idea. We only played, I think, a clip of it. They didn't have the whole rant on the site. So I have no idea
and
what
so
he said.
the tone of it sounds like that complex where I was that weekend while I was at his place in Detroit. He was in Nashville, and they got so much backlash saying, how could you have Kid Rock have a place here? He's a racist, blah, blah, blah. And so they decided, we're not going to renew your lease in April. You're out of here.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, there's got to be more to the clip than we played.
Yeah,
Because what we played didn't sound that bad.
But it might be one of those things, Detroit is very ethnically diverse. And so, you get a lot of heat in a city like that if somebody had said something racist. And I should probably look and see what the comments were that they're trying to deem
we don't have
as.
the full. I know we didn't have the full audio.
No, I'm pretty sure we did not.
Yeah, so what he said. Could be interesting, but yeah, that's kind of like all over the place, and it seems like it's all being attributed to the little thing. They didn't want the heat, so I'm like, it's kind of bizarre. But, we went on a game night and nobody's there. Like, if it weren't for him going on stage anyway.
You might just have shitty food.
It was already not doing well.
Yeah, the food wasn't bad. I mean, because we went back and we did get some food. I got the ribs. And,
okay.
Yeah, it was good. Everybody, and I asked everybody, I'm like, how's your food? And everybody seemed to really like their food. It looked good. It's a nice restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought it was good, but yeah, it was not even attended. Even after a game, we went in there, and there was basically the perimeter of the bar was full, and that was about it, so not much. So Jay-Z, too, he celebrated his 50th birthday by putting his entire catalog back on Spotify. That old Tidal thing didn't pan out.
Wow.
Yeah.
It did. So what's gone on with Tidal? Is that over?
It's not over, but it really hasn't taken off. And I think Jay-Z was probably hurting more because he tried to make a stand and force people to go to Tidal to get his music. And, here we are. He's not cranking out. I mean, it's been 5-6 years since what? He had that album with Kanye. That was like 2014. So 5 years since he's really had something.
He was on some of Beyonce's stuff.
Yeah.
Ape shit.
Yeah, but I think his massive stuff is, 5, 10, 15 years, down the pike, and maybe people aren't going for it like they were. And so he quickly put his music back on Apple, but he refused to budge on Spotify until now. So he's put it back up there. And, I don't know. Tidal's still trucking along, I guess, but I don't think it's doing great. So, yeah, I wonder what the money deal was on that for him to decide to put it back up there.
It sucks if you have to go back to the
I
place that
know.
I think that was kind of it.
You made a stand. You're like, no. And then eventually you're like, okay, I have to.
What else was on Tidal? Just Jay-Z stuff? Or was he trying to get other artists there? I'm not in the know.
I think he tried a little bit of the power play. I think it was did Beyonce do that too? Like her stuff? I don't know if she pulled it off, but I thought she was releasing new material just to Tidal.
She's got to be coming out with something new soon, I'd imagine.
She had stuff, about a year ago?
Yeah, that lemonade.
Yeah.
Gear Plus. She's due.
Yeah.
Somebody texts in, Tidal is free with Sprint phones. So,
They're in trouble.
yes. Yeah, so and they're in trouble. So, yeah, people who've used it said it sucks. So, there you go. Talking about movies versus real life, Engineer Keith said, oh, man, the biggest thing that movies and TV get wrong about nuclear power plants is they cannot explode like nuclear bombs. They both contain radioactive materials, but nuclear power plants are designed to release the heat from fission very slowly. Nuclear bombs release heat very quickly. The absolute worst-case scenario for a nuclear power plant catastrophe is ironically best portrayed by the HBO show Chernobyl, which we were talking about earlier. That should be everyone's reference point for what nuclear power plant catastrophe looks like. The worst offender for nuclear power plants is 24. There is no master remote control for every nuke power plant in the U.S., and even if there were, there's mechanical switches being watched over by trained operators who could just turn off the reactors.
You kind of live by an area that looks like there's some kind of plant or some weird wirings going on. You know,
By that dog park?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a conductor type of, I don't know, whatever it is. Transformers, I think is probably what it is.
looks nuclear.
Chernobyl-y.
Yeah, it's very nuclear, Virginia.
No, definitely not nuclear. No, the nuclear stuff, my grandparents, my grandma Beulah, she lived just down the road from a nuclear power plant.
That would make me nervous.
Yeah.
Just even with just the radiation, and I'd be afraid I'm drinking nuke water.
Well, is it because there were these humongous smokestacks? In fact, I remember when I was a little kid, it was a national news story because the scaffolding, as they were building one of them, the big, massive smokestacks broke and like 20 guys plummeted to their deaths.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they're probably like 80 stories, something like that.
Those
Tough to process.
those things scare the shit out of. I hate smokestacks.
Yeah, but when you were standing in the backyard, you could see them. There were like 2 skinny ones, 2 fat ones, and it's just billowing smoke. I'm like, it's so cool. Not really.
Breathing in
Couldn't
all
figure out why I
the...
had a hard time breathing at grandma's.
Nuclear air.
That's probably why I go to hair club today. So
Yeah, that's why you lost your hair.
Damn, you got a lawsuit.
Your eyes were never that beady before.
yeah, you're right. No, the eyes like hair is falling out, can't breathe.
It has taken a toll.
Yeah, did. So that's what that's all about. Also, Brendan too setting us straight here about cocaine and other random shit. He said, being a pharmacist with all the drug and weed talk, some of it drives me nuts. Just want to clarify a few things. After listening about blowing pot into a child's face, that was after the whole Ambien y'all, which a farm tech said is Schedule 4 and not control, which is completely wrong, and that dude needs to go back to pharmacy school.
I like these pharmacy call-outs.
I know.
In essence, there are 7 in the pharmaceutical world. C1, pretty much all the illicits, heroin, peyote, shrooms, but also includes marijuana. The category is drugs that, according to the FDA, has no medical benefit. So, yeah, a lot of people are screaming that they need to recategorize marijuana.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff, too, about, and I'm not taking a stance, I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of literature about, it's a growing movement with mushrooms. They're talking about microdosing. Have you heard of any of that?
I've heard the
For
terms.
people who have certain issues, panic disorder or depression or post-traumatic disorder.
No, it seems to be great. I don't know a lot about it. I read a little bit about it, but yeah, the medical marijuana stuff, it seems to be absolutely amazing.
But have you seen the mushroom stuff, like the microdosing?
I have seen that a little bit. They are trying to use that a little bit for, I think, more of the schizo type of...
yeah, there was some definite some mental issues that they were saying with small dosages that it could potentially help.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I don't know. I'm just saying what's out there.
Just don't stand in the way of medicine. I mean, whatever it takes. I don't care if it's like if I've got to put a piece of dog shit under my tongue to cure my cancer. Just let medicine do whatever it is that they're going to do. You know, don't stand in their way. Let them use whatever damn drugs they want to. And if you can find a medical benefit out of it and what it's doing to help my body is much better than the little high or whatever I might get, then so be it.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, just get out of the way.
I agree.
I think what it is people, who have kids and who are against drugs completely, they think by even bringing any of that stuff up and talking about it, even potentially being legal, that you're letting them know that, oh, you go ahead and smoke them up. I think that's a big argument for them. I mean, the comments I saw on the mushroom article, people are like, well, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to normalize mushrooms and everyone's going to be doing mushrooms.
No.
And that's the way drugs happen.
Everything that we've done in our culture, and it's so stupid, whether it be drugs or sex or religion or race, is we're just like, we think for some reason putting a cap on it, not talking about is the best thing. And the exact opposite is true.
Of course.
Talk about all that kind of stuff and, have conversations about it, expose hypocrisy and things like that and all those things.
For sure.
And it would be a lot better if we did and just have honest conversations and maintain an open mind about it to say, okay, what is good? I got to tell you, for me, I am getting a closed mind about the opioids. And there's probably some parts of it that are good, but just with the field my wife is in.
Sure, yeah.
I see so much of the really bad part of it that it's starting to it would take a lot to convince me that this is a good thing to do.
And she works at a place that helps people get off of it and get their lives back together.
Yes.
You're seeing the worst of the worst scenarios.
Well, and I just keep seeing normal people that I feel like are like myself that have a back injury or a regular injury, and a medical doctor is saying, take these for your pain, and then they get hooked, and then next thing you know, their whole life is a wreck.
Well, you have other issues too after that. I mean, you start to, your intestines and all your insides can get raw. You can't poop on some of that stuff.
Yeah, the addiction of it and what it does to your mind is just terrible. So, C2, this is the majorly addictive substances, but has some medical benefit. Your oxys, your Adderalls, your Ritalins. C3 to 5 are addictive substances that have potential for abuse. Your benzos, HCG. So all that kind of stuff is in there. So there's different categorizations for this. So hope it's been informative. I'm a firm believer that pot needs to be classified lower and feel that there are many benefits that need to be explored. Big Brother, though, won't let that happen. So that's from B. Yeah.
B stands for bong.
Yeah. Bong. I did yesterday because my wife, they had a groundbreaking dedication thing. They're opening up a new wing. These are for mothers that are addicted and are pregnant or have young babies. And so a lot of times these homes don't have where the kids can stay with them. So now the mothers are, torn away from their children. And so they're trying to open a place where they can be there with their children because they find
great.
that's beneficial. Yeah, so they broke ground on that place yesterday.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. But I was also there having a conversation with somebody that was at the groundbreaking. And she was telling me a story about how she had just gotten back from a bachelorette party in Columbia. I was like,
South Carolina?
I know. I said the same thing, like Missouri. She's like, no, the country. I was like, oh, okay.
Colombia? You got to say it like that. Colombia?
Colombia, yes.
Colombia?
Was it Cartagena, I think is where she went? And it was interesting. She just dropped a little history on me, and she said that it was a town that has sister cities. St. Augustine is one. She said, so if you've been to St. Augustine, they'd look kind of the same because Christopher Columbus, in fact, he was held prisoner there in Cartagena, Colombia. And also I think it's San Juan, Puerto Rico. They're all sister cities. So they kind of had the same city template with it. But she was just telling me how lovely it was. And I was asking her, I said, well, did you notice? Because I'm kind of curious with, some of the South American travel. I've heard, mixed stuff because I'm thinking about maybe going to Mexico City, hopefully in the new year. And my daughter has a friend that is in her apartment building in Boca. And she's kind of become good friends with this girl. This girl, apparently, her parents are really rich. They live in Colombia. And so my daughter's hanging with her, and she said that, yeah, we're going to go and stay at this girl's place. She's invited us. And all we got to do is just get an airline ticket there, and we can stay at their house. I'm like, oh, they have a big enough house? Because it sounds like 3 girls are going to go. She's like, oh, yeah, it's like really big. They have like 15 rooms or something like that.
Wow.
I'm like, that's crazy. And so she was like showing me a photo, and I'm like, those like armed guards? And she's like, yeah. It looked like there were about 4 armed guards. And so I was just trying to ask this girl who had gone to Colombia. I'm like, was that typical? Did you see a lot of guns there? A lot of people have armed guards? She's like, no, I didn't really see that. And so I was talking to my daughter. I'm like, so what does this guy do?
Are you going to go be in an episode of Narcos?
And I'm not kidding you. My daughter's like, I don't know. He's like into exports or something.
Yeah.
Kevin.
So I'm like, Caitlin, could you get a little bit more information about this? I just, so I mean, I know my daughter's 21 and she can do what she wants, and I don't want to be, because look, the one thing, I don't want to be thinking, okay, I've seen Narcos, so everybody, if you're Colombian, of course, you're in the cartel and all this kind of stuff.
Of course not. But if you see pictures and the house has 4 guys standing there with Uzis.
That's why I was asking. I'm like, is this commonplace if you have a nicer home in Colombia that you might want to make sure you have armed guards there at your house? And is exports, I mean, it could be art. It could be coffee.
It could be jewels.
It could be a lot of
Or
things.
it could be blow. I mean, it could be a lot. You're asking the right questions. You're a dad. I think you have every right.
But with what I know now, and my daughter's 21, I guess I really can't. But should I put up more of a fight about her going on this trip to Colombia, or just like...
I wouldn't put up a fight. I would just be asking questions.
If you put up a fight and you go missing, we know what happened.
Can you put up a fight and go with her?
I don't know. I doubt it. That probably would be weird. My daughter's going with a bunch of her friends to this girl who's 21 too, and hey, dad's coming. Wait, what?
It's almost like you're going as a pet at that point. Like you're just like a novelty. Why would you go?
Well, they have armed guards. So does Caitlin. Her armed guard is daddy.
Yeah,
You're not going
I
to
stand
Colombia.
no chance. I mean, they've got they had the big, What is dad going to do?
Well, I'm just saying to watch over and protect. Surely they understand the concept. If they have armed guards out front their house, they know protection is important.
Yeah. Maybe
That's all that you want to do is protect your daughter. I would not let Magnolia go, but that is just me.
What if Max is 28? Like, Mom, I'm going. I don't give a shit what you say.
Yeah, I mean, she's 21, almost
I know.
22.
I mean, you can't stop Mags.
I could try.
How would you stop a 22-year-old Mags?
I don't know. I can't even deal with a 15-year-old Max.
So I had that conversation with this girl yesterday, and I'm like, I think I need to maybe look into this a little bit more. So, trying to get any kind of information on my daughter is very challenging. And so I'm asking questions. She's like, I don't know, Dad. I'm just like, okay, well, can you find out more? Like, what does he export? And I don't know. I don't want to be like going, will you find out if this guy's like into blow or not? How do you ask that question?
And find out, I mean, I don't know. I'd be very, very scared.
I don't know. His uncle, his last name's Escobar. What?
What if it's a whole, like a ring or something? A trafficking thing.
I know. I don't. Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to bring you down that path because I don't know these people. But
I know.
This is how people get into stuff like this. They get befriended.
I know.
And then they get taken overseas.
I know.
There's no protection.
And I don't have a set of skills.
You have no skills.
I have no particular set of skills.
You can barely do radio.
Right. I have no particular set of skills. I'm not going to be like Liam Neeson in Colombia.
No.
Trying to track down my daughter.
No, you would end up being taken.
I would. That'd be the twist.
Yeah.
My daughter makes it home fine. That'd be it. I think she's taken. I go to Colombia. She's actually having a great time. She's not taken at all. I wind up getting kidnapped. She comes back fine. Like, where's Dad? He went to go rescue you. I was fine. Oh, Dad's disappeared in Colombia now. I'm the one who's gone.
If those people take Caitlin, they better look out. They got to watch out for Kim.
Oh,
yeah, I
good
know.
luck with the queen.
Yeah, it's weird because so far, like, I was looking at Kim. I'm like, you're okay? She's, I don't know. She seems to think it's fine. I don't know. So that's why I'm like,
Well,
okay.
can Kim go with them then? Because
I know,
I
right?
feel safer knowing that Kim is going
Yeah.
up against whatever it is.
Yeah, I just feel like
Girls trip.
I'm just kind of looking around like, going, why is no one else alarmed by this? Am I just, is it just me? Like, I'm looking around and like, this guy's into exports? Forearm guards?
No, your wife needs to go.
It's a big ass house.
She likes hanging out with the girls. Make it like a girls' trip, but have your wife go to watch over.
Any advice you give is going to mean nothing. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. She's going to Colombia. Kevin's not.
Tanya said, I'm Colombian, and it is not normal to have guards, even if you're a millionaire. He is
Okay.
a dealer.
He is a dealer.
All right. Well, then there you go.
That's kind of what I was
You
looking
only needed
for.
one text.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking for that. I'm dancing around it, but I'm like going, yes, if you're Colombian and you do have money, is this standard to have a lot of armed guards at your house? One source is telling me, no, that's not standard. So Yeah, I can't send my daughter off, right, to go stay at a cartel.
I would do everything I possibly could to keep that from happening.
Okay, we'll escalate that a little bit.
Not Escobar it, but escalate it.
Well, she was telling me, the girl who'd done the bachelor, I think he had a house there, Pablo did. And I was like, so what is it? She's like, it's a massive, like, mansion, but it's a shell. It's been ransacked, and it's, like, spray painted, and it's abandoned.
That would be cool just to see that.
That's weird that it's still standing.
Yeah, it is. But people know, because I'm like going, I just know when we talk about it. And I said, he's not like, she's like, no, he is not beloved. You know, in his hometown, he would pump a little bit of money for a while. Medellin. But then after a while, even in Medellin, it was like, fuck this guy. You know, he's not but a cold blooded killer. Yeah. That was it.
Kevin, how are you involved in some Colombian BS?
It's just,
I don't know if I like this.
Yeah. Like, wait, what?
I kind of like it only because I think it's good for the show.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a deeper dive. Yeah, because nothing about it makes me feel comfortable at all.
As it shouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I'll have to go fight with the whole family later today then. It's worth the fight, though.
It's worth
It is definitely worth the fight.
I'll bring over some beer when you lose. That's why you can't drink beer on your keto. Fuck, I'll bring vodka.
Yeah, okay, vodka's good. Yeah. Actually, we got in the back. I might get some now.
We still have Tito's, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Tito's is Cato's.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Those Virginia words. Cato and Cato. Cato. Put them on the list.
This email needs a little bit of advice, too. Oh, Virginia. I just checked my daughter's phone. I noticed some disturbing text messages. To make it short, my daughter just turned 13. Let me repeat, 13. And I found out she'd been dirty talking to a boyfriend. I didn't even know she had. Also found out that a few days ago, they met in a school bathroom and messed around, making out, touching, and whatnot. This was mutual. She swears nothing else happened, and according to her text messages, they just messed around. I am torn. Torn because she's a damn good girl, great grades in sports. She told me they've been together for 10 months, and so far, he hasn't been a, quote, distraction. She's being punished with limited phone usage until we can trust her again. I did tell her that they can still talk, but there needs to be boundaries. I know they care for each other, and I didn't want to break my little girl's heart by blocking all communication with him. I did talk to the boy, and I told him not to ever touch or talk to my daughter that way. He apologized and said it was his fault. What is up with this generation? They are both only 13. What would V do?
I think you did the right thing. I think you have to open the communication with him and her, and you got to talk about respect, and you got to talk about, your body is a sanctuary, and you share it, but you share it with people that respect you and speak to you with kindness, and we don't talk like common haws in the street. We don't do that. And you invite him over, and you get to know him, and yeah, I agree with you. You don't put a ban on it. Mm-hmm. You try to, help them make better choices and not be filthy hormone-driven animals.
Gosh, if let's say this still continues and the kid comes over and is friends with with the mom and dad now, she's read all that stuff. I would be so embarrassed as the boy.
I know.
I don't know if I could sit in the room with the mom.
That'd be cringy.
I would be. I mean, I think about just some of the stupid shit I said that was so benign as a 13 or 14-year-old in front of my girlfriend's parents. That was nothing. That's humiliating. Especially if you're going like filthy. Oh my gosh. That'd be tough to sit at a dinner table.
Well, good. Maybe if it's too tough for him, he won't keep up the relationship.
I'm just saying, even if you do keep it up quietly, that's got to destroy you a little bit of being humiliated. That's cringy.
Yeah, none of us really know. Our kids live a secret life that doesn't involve us. And I was really living a secret life when I was 14, 15, 16. My parents didn't know anything, nothing that I was up to. And I try to stay involved in Magnolia's life, and I try to be nosy, and I try to be, sneaky and figure stuff out. But I don't know how much I know.
No, I wasn't even a a kid that snuck out and did any bad stuff, but just going through life, there was things that my parents didn't know, little dramas, maybe dating people. They had no idea, and it was easy to hide it from them.
You got to talk with your young kids earlier than our parents did, if they even did. You got to start talking to them when they're like 11, 12, and saying, look, it's about respect. You respect yourself enough not to send out nude pictures or engage in dirty talk, and you respect other people not to talk to them like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's about like having a self-worth and having taking care of how you are judged by your peers, by anybody you want to date.
Then Erica in the chat room, and I knew I had a bunch of people. I went to school with people that were like this. She goes, shit, I started making out with boys at 11 as soon as middle school started. And I went to school with, there's a couple people I know at 6th grade. They were full on, not having sex, but they were getting down and dirty for a 6th grader.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
I think it starts at that late 5th grade, 6th grade. I think some kids start to.
And every kid's going to be different. I mean, just because you have a 6th grader and you're hearing this, it doesn't mean you should hit the panic button and freak out. But it's definitely something you need to talk with them about sex. And it's awkward, and it's going to feel like, oh, terrible.
Because what I was saying earlier, though, conversations, talking about stuff like that is, I think it's good. I think the more you know, and I think with kids, kind of like what you were saying, Virginia, to me, it's like, hey, look, this is ultimately your body. This is your life, and you're going to make decisions, and you can make decisions early in your life that could change the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And all I'm doing here as a parent, I think sometimes you feel like, oh, well, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it anyway. Be like, look, you're only doing it to yourself. I mean, this is your life, your body, your decisions that you're going to make, and I can't always be there for you. And you got to understand, you make a decision like this, these are the kind of things that can happen.
And just think about, too, not to sound like an old fuckface.
But it kind of fits.
But we didn't have technology back in the day. You didn't have access to the internet. I mean, even if you just look at porn is so easily, anyone can access it at this time.
You're
and now
right.
it's at a point now, they're just coming up with the craziest shit with porn to the point you're like, what the fuck is even that?
And nobody was ever asking me for nudes. Magnolia told me one of her friends was talking to a little boy on Snapchat, and it's just normal
Sexting,
for these kids to ask each other for nude pictures. And some kids do it, and some kids don't. So
Wow.
you want to have your talk with your kid before somebody asks them for nudes, that this is not what we do. We have more respect for our body than to just give it out for free on a Snapchat.
I think it's naive to think, though, technology has not played a role in growing up, having kids grow up a little bit quicker than they used to.
Huge,
Yeah, no doubt. And,
huge role.
You know, somebody's saying this is the argument as to why you shouldn't have kids with cell phones.
Well, good luck with that. They all have one.
Well, you could do it without access. You could have a phone and just access phone numbers and have that.
Get
that's
an old flip phone.
That's always the excuse.
Call, text, that's it.
I want my kid to have. Well, you can have that. You just take off the internet, take all that shit. Go old school with the phone. But like you're saying,
You can't-
all their friends are gonna have
Right.
it. They're gonna feel left out.
You can't shelter them from everything. You should instead expose them and show them what's out there and say, look, somebody's going to hit you up and ask you for a nude. What are you going to do? How do you think that you would want to handle that?
I don't think you should shelter them, but I also don't think you should give them the keys to the kingdom, because I'm sorry, if I was 17 years old and I had access to porn like it is, I would
It's
have
like giving a 16-year-old a Porsche.
I would have left my fucking room.
Give him a shitty car, can't get past 40 miles an hour.
I'm just being honest. That's just how.
I think if you have a phone, you have porn.
Not if you don't have the internet access.
I don't know.
I don't know the answer either.
It's a crazy world out there.
I'm just saying, the technology speeding things up real quick.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. All righty, good stuff. Appreciate those emails. We'll try to give you our answers. May not be right.
Yeah,
Probably
what
not.
the hell do we know?
I know nothing. I have no kids.
Yeah. But we'll give it to you. Mail at kvjshow.com, mail at kvjshow.com. The After the Show podcast being brought to you by Bud's Chicken and Seafood and their amazing chicken fingers. Go try out their 7 locations in Palm Beach County. We'll see y'all Friday. Woo!
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.